We've got an interesting new study that was just published about the Neanderthals heading east, specifically from the Crimean Peninsula all the way to Siberia, and it's all thanks to this little bone fragment right here. It was initially collected back in the 90s, but back then they couldn't tell what the bone was from. Now, as technology has increased, we can actually get DNA from fragments like this and tell what it belonged to. They did that. It turns out this was from a Neanderthal. Not only a Neanderthal, but a Neanderthal that was living around the time of the last Neanderthals, around 45,000 years ago. But what's really interesting is what the DNA revealed. Genetically, when they compared the mitochondrial DNA to all other known Neanderthals, this Neanderthal was more closely related to 5 individuals living in 3 sites, all up in Siberia. They attempted to model the climate over time, and they were able to show that around 120,000 years ago, Neanderthals may have been moving west to east, and again around 60,000 years ago. And there's also a tool complex that connects these populations with one another. So this large, I don't want to say a large population, but it's at least a population that's using similar tools spanning across this steppe region, primarily consuming animals like horses. In fact, over 90% of the bones that they were able to identify through protein analysis, they came back to horse DNA. Now, this also ties into something that I've been discussing on here over the last few months, and that is the idea that Denisovans, the species I haven't even mentioned in this video, but we actually have one of these Neanderthals that this Ukraine Neanderthal was connected to. This comes from Denisova cave, and it's a hybrid between a Neanderthal and a Denisovan. The mother of that hybrid seems to be a Neanderthal that had moved out east. But anyways, what I was going to say is that I think there is a chance that during the glacial maximums, when glaciers would move down and this region would be much less habitable, that populations would be isolated out east. And I think that isolation may be the initial thing that led to the split between the eventual Denisovans and Neanderthals. Another thing this study made me think about is that we often discuss Neanderthals as if they were living just really small populations, not moving much, not migrating much, but maybe that's more just a reflection of their environment. And when there were warmer periods like these interglacials where they spread out, it seems like they were moving quite a bit more. So I don't know, maybe it's just those ice ages and the impacts they had up north. It made things really tough for them.